How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This'll be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Good afternoon or good morning, depending upon where you are. Welcome back to Horse Center with myself, HRT Rich, and of course, you have charming Charles over there on this hump day at Parx, which is unusual because Saratoga's closed. We had been at the spa meet. Summer's over, and it's off to Parx today.
Yeah, no more Saratoga. That's okay. We got Kentucky Downs tomorrow, so
Kentucky Downs tomorrow, and probably Tom and I on Friday again too. So that should be a lot of fun. It's a pretty wild track, that Kentucky Downs, huh?
you got to have an open mind when you're handicapped, and you got to look at almost every angle that you not even thought of maybe sometimes before.
And it just, yeah, like you said, you just have to, not even angle. Sometimes you just got to play hunches, right? Just looking at the horses and saying, okay, which ones look like they're at least trending in the right direction. Or sometimes there, I wondered if you just say, you know what, I'm going to pick the one I think has no chance to win. And it end up being the way they find the winners there. But I have found, though, I have to say that most of the tickets that I have cashed in the first couple of days there were on horses that had some experience at the track already.
Yeah.
And most of them went off at pretty decent odds too. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Today, we'll talk first about Remington Park. That's the free track today, a guaranteed tip sheet. There is a link in the description below here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're following along. You'll see in race number 1, True Dominius is best bet. Look at that, 9-2 best bet tonight, starting at 8:07 p.m. Eastern. So when you're sitting around tonight and you're getting yourself ready to watch Horse Center with myself and Sean tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll return with Grace McEntee. She came over from Europe, a young lady jockey who trying to make her mark here after being very successful in Europe. Let's see if indeed what she thinks about her future here in the States. Great new young lady to introduce yourself to if you have any questions for her. If you want to say hi, whatever it is, just make sure you tune in tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Best way, Charles, to make sure you don't miss anything we do around here is what?
Hit that subscribe button. And, of course, there's a little bell off the next to that. Hit that, and you'll get alerted every time we have a show.
Mm-hmm. And you might want to mark on the ones Charles is on because
I'm
not sure if you want to see that face or not.
Oh, yeah, this is the face only a mother could love.
And even then, it's questionable.
Yes.
All right. Let's go on to race number 1 at Parx. That's our task for today, Mr. Charles. So let's talk about what the conditions are for the first race coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, this one's pretty simple. It's 6 furlongs. Maiden claimer, 16,000. Purse is 22,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward.
And a profile of a 6 furlong winner at the Ben Salem, Pennsylvania track does favor tactical speed at 6 furlongs. Although if you get to the front, you have a really good chance to go wire to wire 37% of the time so far. Post positions 1 through 7, they play fair, but you do get a little bit of an edge if you are wearing the 8 or out. Not an issue in the opener today because we only have a 5-horse field. See here is our simulations, 1,000 simulations using speed figures to find out what fair odds might look like. Then 1,000 simulations using early pace figures to see who has what % chance to have the lead at the quarter-mile marker. Speed is a big factor in American racing. And then C-zone, based upon our projected pace, which horses are likely to get a trip that mirror or look a lot like some of their best efforts. The higher the number, the better there, Charles. So what do you see in all of these colors?
Well, it shows that the 3 has a 30% chance getting that lead at the quarter pole. Probably so, but this is a maiden race, and there's some horses that have only had 1 or 2 races, so you're not getting a lot out of it. Like the one, for example, 26% get the lead at the quarter pole. So we'll see how that turns out. When it comes to simulation odds and overlays here, we got the 2 at even money, and the morning line's 5-1. So you can't.
And right now it's 4-1 on the Jules ended.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4-1. So you're getting still a very good value with the 2-horse.
Mm-hmm. And then what about that 5? The 5 was supposed to be slightly under 2-1, and we got 3.5.
So at 9-5 looks like the fair value odds on the 5-horse, and right now it's 7-5. It is your favorite. The 1-horse is 2-1. So maybe looks to me like just from a value standpoint, the 5-horse, Charles, also has a pretty strong C-zone in there too. So, I mean, the 2-horse.
2-horse, yeah.
that might be the play in there. Let's see what the pace figure and pace shape shows here. Well, what you see is the 1 and the 5 are E horses. They want to be on the lead. That's what the E pilots, they want to steer the ship. EPs can steer the ship or co-pilot. They can ride shotgun too. The P horses like to ride shotgun. The PCs are versatile. They can be anywhere on the plane. So they are your flight attendants. They can be the front, the back, the middle, most versatile running style in horse racing. Closers, they want to come from the back to the front. They're the caboose. They want to become the engineer. Your NC horses are horses that have not been within 5 lengths of the leader in up to their last 10 races. And finally, the first stands for first-time starters. Looking at this, Charles, the 1 and 5 want to get out to the front. Question is, will they get out to the front enough in this short field to make a big difference? And just looking at it, you see here the 1 horse does have a little bit of advantage, but only 6 points between the front and the back. That's about a length at the quarter-mile marker. Might be enough to get the job done if you have the late speed. That looks like it belongs to the 2 horse in here. Charles, again, the horse showing a little bit of value according to the simulator and also scoring out as the top total pace horse over the 3. Then the 1 and the 5, it looks like the 6 horse might be in a little bit over its head according to total pace. Charles, right now, it does look like on paper, the 2 horse is the play from a value standpoint, but both of us have it a little bit further back in our picks.
Yeah, I mean, this race, even though it's a 5 horse race, still wide open. I mean, I like the 1 horse a little bit here. It has the speed. I think it has enough speed to go on. The trainer gets 18% second time with Lasix. Second start after a layoff also. And we got Paco aboard. So we got a couple of pluses here for this horse. The 6 horse, like you said, might be out of his league. Well, I don't know about that. He drops in class, so he's got some tactical speed. He's changing from turf to dirt, and his trainer gets 19% with that angle. So there might be a plus there with that horse. And then the 5, as my third choice, ran second last time, second start after a layoff. Another one I personally believe has some tactical speed, could sit real close. Then the 2. Got some tactical speed, but last time he ran even, and the trainer gets 11% first after a claim. So let's see how that works out.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with the 5 horse Chasing Stardom. That's the top pick for me. Looks like it's the top pick for the folks at the track as well. Looking at Chasing Stardom, if he can just rerun the last race with that top last race speed figure, and it was by, 10 points. Some large margin. Mm-hmm. That big of a speed figure difference, either that one has to regress a lot or the others have to catch up a lot. Somewhere in the middle, he probably still wins. Number 1 horse, your top pick, Masadiro. Been well bet in both of its starts in there. Improved fractions last time by a little bit, not a whole lot, but enough to show some improvement. And today might get some bonus points with Paco Lopez riding. He wins everything at Parx. Number 2, Jules in the Bay. Probably should have this one first after that, the way we built it up through the simulations and the pace figures, but did up his speed figure 3 races in a row, according to Barry Meadows in his book, The Skeptical Handicapper. That's what I have termed an alpha angle. Wins at 15% or more. And interestingly, too, Charles, it's the only 4-year-old versus every other horse in here being 3. So could have a maturity and physical edge, too. Finally, the 6 horse, Kaieku, I'm not sure. Going to drop in class. Probably going to take a little bit of money here as maybe as one of the favorites, at least one of the morning line favorites in there. I think it was the morning line favorite. Been regressing badly, and really just looking at his recent performances, it looks like it's one that needs some time in the barn. If he beats me, Charles, he beats me. That's the way I wouldn't play it, to be honest with you, in any of my bets here. But with the odds going up on the 6 horse to 3-1, maybe I might put a little bit behind it in terms of the back end of it, exacta or trifecta. Maybe there's some value there. Maybe the morning line maker knows what's going on. Could be, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that we both did not place a bet here with our $100 budget.
Indeed,
that's how wide open I think it is.
Yeah, and right now the 5 horse is 6-5. So if it can move up to maybe 8-5, you can get some good value. Some late money is definitely chasing the 6. So maybe the spoofers trying to get people off the 6. Who knows? Let's set up race number 2, and then we'll talk about race number 1 of it as it's happening. What do you see here, Mr. Charles?
Okay, race number 2, 1 mile and a 16th. Claiming price is $7,500. Non-winners of 4 live. Purse is $21,000. And this is for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 4 races. Pretty simple.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. At a mile and a 16th, we did not see that yesterday, but in prior starts, Tactical Speed has done well. Again, speed does really perform exceptionally well in Ben Salem. 30% of the time, it goes wire to wire at this mile and a 16th distance. You do get a little bit of additional bonus if you wear 1, 2, or 3 in the post positions. 4 through 7, they get dinged pretty hard. And then 8 and out get the biggest bonus of all. Charles, unfortunately, we don't go out to 8 in race number 2, but there is a little bit of inside speed.
Yeah, we have the 1 at 52% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. That's how I see it. I see that horse being out winging it, but I also see the 7 giving us some trouble with 38% chance. So I think they're both going to go head and head. Who really breaks the gate the best probably will have that lead at the quarter pole. When it comes to simulation odds, the 1 just slightly under 2-1. We got 4-1 morning line. That's not too bad. We have the 4 at 2-1. The morning line is 8-1, and that's all we got there when it comes to the simulation odds.
All right, they're popping in the gates, so we'll come back for the pace setup. So it looks like they're just about ready to go. Well, let's see if we can do this pace setup real quick in race number 2. That way we can just make our picks next time around.
Okay.
You have barbell approach. I don't think we're going to be able to do it, Charles.
No,
so let's go back to race number 1. So race number 1's about to get going on this day, this hump day. The 5-horse does remain your 6-5 favorite, so a little bit overvalued. 2-horse looks to me like at 9-2. That is the value bet in race number 1. Let's see if it makes our top picks come in second and third, and they're off. Pretty clean start for everybody in here. Looks to me like the 1, the 3, and the 6 are really pressing for the lead, although the 5 has kind of sauntered into that mix. The 2-horse is probably about 1.5 lengths back from everybody else, maybe 2. The other 4 are really trying to race around the track. I probably wouldn't want to be the 6-horse being 4 wide going through the turn. It's going to have to run a long way, and probably considering a 23-second opening quarter, not really blazing fast. But the 6 has moved up. The 3-horse is starting to back out of the race. So he's out of the way. The 2-horse, the one we said was the best value, is moving up pretty aggressively now. He's going to go by the 1-horse here in just a second, it looks like. The 5-horse continues to be your leader. The 6-horse is trending up to the outside. 1-horse looks like it's starting to lose a little momentum. This race looks like it's going to come down to the 6 or the 5. But on the outside, Charles, Buffalo Girls on the outside, it looks like the 2-horse is going to be your winner in this race, Charles. Like we discussed in there, when you're doing horse racing and, when you're making bets, if you want to be a bettor that turns into a profitable bettor, you have to make bets where you're getting value. And the 2-horse was the value horse in the race. It came home the winner. And again, it went off at 9-2. And if we rewind at some of the stuff we saw in our data, the 2-horse looks like its simulated odds should have been around 6-5, which would have made it the simulation favorite. And then when we looked at the race pace setup in here, the 2-horse also graded out as the lone top total pace horse with a big late pace edge, and it really wasn't all that far off everybody else early on. And that's kind of how that race took shape. So according to like all of the data, the race shape, this played out exactly like it said it should, with the 2-horse being the value horse. I was contemplating moving it to the 1st horse in my thing, Charles, to make that change, but I knew you would have got all off for me.
Oh, I would have been all over you on that one. You don't change. But but I thought that race was, we were discussing it all the way. It was like, yeah, that horse has got an excellent shot. So
that's the way, like when I'm actually at the track with the data in front of me or sitting at my desk, that's how I like to bet. Unfortunately, when you do these contests, which is what I like to do, and yesterday it came down to the last race for me, and my horse, I took a shot because it was a maiden claiming. I wanted a price horse at the end just in case I was behind. And the price horse did win. I just picked the wrong one. But when I'm sitting at my computer, that's what I'm looking for. Value horses that, according to my statistics, have a chance to win. But I'm getting 4-1 odds or 5-1 odds or 10-1 odds when the computer says I should be getting 2 or 3-1 odds instead as fair value. All right. So race number 2, we were talking about the race shape. Again, in race number 2, what we see here is a Sesame Street horse. That's what stands out to me. The 6-horse, We Be There, doesn't look like any of the others in between the speed and the closers. In this shape, I probably want one of the horses that's closer to the front, especially if they have a speed advantage. And it doesn't really look like outside of the 7, Sunny Saint, and he has a real big advantage. Again, pretty tightly packed, except for maybe True Dakota. And its numbers might be a little skewed off of a poor performance last time out. Late Speed belongs to the 2-horse, the Twin Sneakers, a couple points better than the next closest horse. Although, again, minus the 7-horse, everybody's in pretty tight there, especially the top 4. If we're looking at total pace, which was the winning formula in race number 1, you're looking at the 2-horse again, although does have some company with Gimme Back My Bullets, the 1-horse up near the front. The 1-horse might struggle to get the lead, and that's probably where it wants to be, Charles. What do you think this race is going to look like when they hit the finish circle?
Yeah,
finish wire, finish line, winner's circle.
Well, let's put it this way. You can see it from my bet. Pick 4. I start with all 4 of my picks here. I like the 3 a little bit here on the front end of this. It won last time out. Well bet last time. It has some of that tactical speed. Trainer gets 24% when he puts them back in repeater, the same claiming price that he ran in last time, which he won. So I think this horse is very dangerous. But the 1-horse does have some speed. This horse drops in class. The rail gets 19%. So totally fits in this group, as we already saw on the charts. And then the 2, which we just saw. Last time it ran even, which is okay. This is second start after a layoff. And his big plus is that this horse will be flying at the end. And especially with those 1 and the 7 really battling it, I think he could get there if he really, does it right, the right timing. The 7, as we spoke, it has some speed. Ran third last time out, totally fits with this group. So that's why I'm starting my pick 4 with all 4 horses here. Then I'm going with my top 3 picks in the next leg. Then I got a single in that third leg. And then the fourth leg, I got my top 4 picks.
I am going to start with Gimme Back My Bullets. I think a little bit of a hat tip to Leonard Skinner, a great word for if you ever play that game Hangman. There are no vowels. Gimme Back My Bullets. Last race was better than it looks with similar fractions that he ran in the prior start in a winning effort, just one step below where they're running in today's conditions. He tried to step up and just maybe bit off more than he can chew. Singing Through the Storm, really consistent performer, that 5-horse. And last race, when you look at the race internals, the pace numbers were better in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, a sign of a horse on the upswing. The Twin Sneakers, the 2-horse, second Parx race after shipping up I-95 from Gulfstream Park in Miami. Last race was a sprint, but when you look through the past performances, this horse looks really more like it's a route runner. Going longer today should be in its comfort zone, and we'll see if it helps. True Dakota, man, that 4-horse, I don't really know what to do with that one, Charles, because the last 2 were just terrible. But the horse does have some recent back class that if he could run to that recent back class, like 3 races ago, would win this race. I'm going to do, and I didn't put it in my pick 4, so you can circle that one right now. 1-2-5 with the 1-3-6, with the 2-6, with the 5-7 for me in my pick 4, starting in race number 2. Let's start with our thoughts in terms of what the condition books say are the ways to get into this race, Charles.
Well, this is a 6 furlongs. This is for claiming price at $7,500, purse $21,000. This is for fillies, 3-year-olds and are old. 3-year-olds, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races. See, there they go. When all they had to do is say 3-year-olds and up.
Well, maybe because fillies are 3 and mares are 4.
Well,
so if they wanted to include mares, I guess
how they usually write is fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up.
Yeah, maybe someone needs to take up some space. One other quick note about race number 1. We did point out that the 2-horse was the only 4-year-old facing 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that can be a huge factor, that 1-year difference. You were a trainer. How much does that 1-year difference make?
Huge, tremendous. But we are at almost the end of the year of their 3-year-olds, so they are getting pretty close to the same, but it's still pretty big overall, yes. And fillies and colts, 2-year-olds, fillies are just as good, if not better than colts at 2, but it reverses when they hit 3.
So when we look at race number 3, our profile of the winner, 6 furlongs, it's basically tactical speed, although 37% of the time you can get to the front and stay on the front and run right into the winner's circle. Post positions are fair, 1 through 7. You get a little bit of some additional caffeine, if you will, octane, if you ride with the 8 or out. There's no such thing here. Only 6 horses in this field, Charles. So we're looking for some tactical speed. It looks like everybody but the 2 or the 5 has a chance to be on the lead.
Yeah, there's some speed in here, but the main speed is that 4 horse, 60% chance of getting the lead at the quarter pole. I don't know. Don't turn your head on the 1 at 25% chance getting the lead, or possibly even the 6. Believe it or not, I think that horse has a lot of speed too, even though it shows 4%. So you got plenty of speed, I think, in this race. When it comes to simulation odds, look at the 1. We're looking at what? That's
1 to 2, 3 to 5, somewhere in there.
3 to 5. I was going to say morning line's 2.5, not bad. The 2 is just slightly under 2 to 1. We got 4 to 1 morning line. So those 2 are your overlays in this race.
4 horse scares me a little bit. Neither one of us have it in our picks. You have that strong chance to be on the lead, according to our simulation, says it will be the leader. And this 87% C-zone says it will be very comfortable with the speed it has to run up there. Maybe we should reconsider putting the 4 somewhere into our picks. As we look at the pace setup, maybe this will tell us why we don't have it in there. Looking at the race shape here, you got 3 that want to be on the front, pressure horse. So 4 of the 6 horses in this race want to be forwardly placed. Maybe a little bit too much speed, Charles. So in that case, you want the speed of the speed, and Peach be with Q. That one is the quickest of the bunch, although all the way down here, all of these are within 5 points, within a length of each other. The 5 and the 2 should be maybe 4 or 5 lengths back at the beginning. Might be a little bit too much ground to cover. Unless they have a really significant late pace edge, they probably have maybe over some of the other horses 3 to 4 lengths. So it's going to be real tough for those 2 to find their way to the front, especially if any of those speed horses get away with softish fractions. Our total pace belongs to Bravo Zulu, 7 points better next. Horse Peach BQ. And then when you have close to a 10-point advantage, Charles, it's a horse that you have to keep in your picks. May not win, but certainly one that you have to think about maybe wheeling in exactas, trifectas. How do you play this race?
Well, I'm going to play a horse I think is going to have probably the perfect trip because of the speed up front, and you got 2 big closers in the back. This horse has got some tactical speed, which is the 3. Ran second last time out. Totally fits at this level. So all this horse has to do is stay semi-close, sit there about 3rd or 4th, and make one good move, and hopefully they start backing up towards this horse. The 2 is another one here that ran 3rd last time out. Trainer gets 19% overall. This is one of them that'll be flying at the end. Totally fits with this group. And then the 6, one of the speed horses, ran second last time out. Trainer gets 15% with 46 plus days. So you got a nice fresh horse here. You got a hot trainer last 14 days also with that horse. So, and you got to watch out there. But then the 1 has some speed, as we've been talking about, drops in class, back on the dirt. The question is, can the horse hang on at the end?
Yeah, that's a question, right? When the speed horses get to the front, stay to the front, it's kind of hard to do at times. Peach with a Q. This one at Parx, been out 4 times, has a 2nd, 3, 3rd. So in the money 100% of the time. 1, 2 times out of the 3 starts where it came fresh out of the barn. So that looks like the time the horse runs its best. Plus, Peach is my chubby blonde girlfriend, my Golden Lab's name. And it's a wonderful dog, and there's no way in the world I can bet against her. Number 1, Bravo Zulu. It takes a significant drop in class here. In fact, it's the lowest level the horse has run in the last 10 races and should show some signs of improvement in the 2nd start after a layoff. Number 3, America's Pride was big time better through the first half mile in its last race. The last time it made a similar move forward, it finished 2nd by about this much. So I think that could be an indication of a good race coming from the 3, Charles's top pick. And then finally, number 2, So Well, should be closing in this race and is incrementally, not a whole lot, but just a little bit, race after race after race, taking a step forward. I'm going to try a 50-cent trifecta here with the 1-6, with the 1-3-6, with the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 as a part of my budget. Let's go on to race 4. Charles, what are the conditions here?
Well, race 4, we got a mile and 70 yards, claiming price of 12,500, non-winners of 2 lifetime. Purse is 23,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
All right, pretty simple conditions. We haven't seen a mile and 70 yards since yesterday, Charles. But overall, early speed again, no surprise at Parx. 30 out of 100, take them from the front to the end, all the way in charge. There is an inside-out bias, so the closer you are to the rail, the better. Mostly fair from 1 through 7, but you do get a small penalty from 8 and out. So it's not a deal breaker or a deal maker. So if you're breaking a tie between horses, the inside horse might be, just from a post position standpoint, a little bit better off. Looking at race number 4, Charles, we got dinged with some scratches in here. That only leaves 4 horses. And the 2 horses that got knocked out of this race were the ones that were going to carry the race early on. So we have no idea who's going to take the lead here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still have the 4 in mine. My pick.
Yeah, it scratched a little late.
Oh, I got a late scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Well, we can change that.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, then, well, yeah, now I don't know who would take the lead. Probably the one. The one probably has a little bit more speed in it, but this is going to be really tough now, like you said. But when it comes to simulation odds, we got the 2 that it's right around what 4 to 5, and we got just a little almost 2 to 1 morning line, which is not too bad overlay. But we only have 4 horses, so all that's going to change very drastically.
Yeah, in 4-horse races, I remember when we had on Scott Fiedler, he said in these short races, when you're in the contest, you always want to take the longest priced horse in here. You're talking about who's going to have the early speed. It does look like maybe off of some recency bias, it looks like the 2-horse, Sal and Louis, might be the one that decides to take charge. So Take Me to the Moon. Liberty Runner might be a little bit off there, maybe 2 lengths off that back there. But I think in a 4-horse field, they probably won't go all that fast early out. That means that one horse, if it's within a length or 2, it has a 3-length late pace advantage. So if it's in a length or 2 of all of the other horses coming out of the turn, it'd be very difficult, if not impossible, for them to hold it off. If you look at the total pace number in here too, the Liberty Runner, let's have a 9-point advantage. We talked a little bit about when you close in on 10, it's a horse that's going to be very competitive. I feel like the race shape really fits the one horse here. It should, in a short field, sit second or third, and then just has such stronger late jets than anybody else. Probably propels that one to the winner's circle, but I didn't put it there, Charles. Neither did you. I'm kind of worried that I didn't.
Well, yeah, well, I have the 2 as my top pick. This horse has got some of that tactical speed. I think this is the winner. This is my single in my pick 4 originally have. This horse is drops in class. Trainer gets 33% when he drops him down 2+ levels. I just see now that it's this horse's race to lose. He doesn't have to have a lead. He can sit behind whoever wants it. The 6 is my second choice here. This is a horse that has tactical speed, won last time out. Trainer gets 19% when they rest him up 46+ days. The 1 has some of that tactical speed, this is the one I think might go to the front. Ran even last time out, fits with this group. And then, of course, I just now had to move in the 3 as my final pick here. You know, this horse, the trainer gets 20% when it goes from turf to dirt. The horse got a little closing speed, so let's see what it could do.
Yeah, I think if you're right about that one horse getting to the lead with all that late pace, we're both going to regret not having it in as our top pick, Charles, if you're right about that. I like the 6 horse, and I think the 2 horse in here, Silent Louis, is going to probably take on a lot of money, probably will be close to that 3 to 5 in a 4-horse field. Was the favorite to begin with, and the 2 of the next closest favorites got knocked out of the race. So I think that you'll see that one take a lot of money. So I'm going to try to beat it with a horse that did tie for the top last race, Speed Figure. It wasn't a maiden claiming 10,000 wins, so I'm not the biggest fan of horses making that move up, although we did see one do that yesterday against horses like that. And catching a weight break today. I think the weight break will be the difference maker. If not, Silent Louis, this one's dropping multiple classes, facing probably the easiest competition it's seen in a while, and did show some life last race out by improving its 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. Number 1, the Liberty Runner. Well, we talked about why we think Liberty Runner is one that could really upset everything here. This horse moves forward, is anywhere near the front runners coming out of that turn. That major late pace advantage is going to take over, and it could be really difficult for them to hold
Especially
them
with
off.
that C zone rating. Look at that. I mean, the horse is very comfortable at this distance. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just one of those horses. Now the horse looks dangerous, but like I said, the 2 it's still its horse race to lose. So,
and I'm going to try to beat it because I do think it's the one in the pick 4 that's going to take on a lot of money and can cut a lot of tickets in half. Though I wouldn't be shocked though if a lot of people all this first leg and then try to single up somewhere else just so they could buy a leg and hope for the longest shot to win. And then Ormerda Code, the 3 horses. I mean, someone had to be 4th, Charles. It fell onto Ormerda Code. That's no need to handicap that one. So the lack of handicapping that one probably means it's the winner.
yeah.
Well, that's because, again, when we had on Scott Fielder, who wins a ton of these contests, he says in these short fields, you always take the longest priced horse because if it hits, you're going to go zooming by everybody else who's taking the short horse. The 5th race, as we make it to the halfway point in the card, somewhere in the 5th and 6th race, they're kind of the halfway points together. Charles, we go back to 6 furlongs.
Yeah, I'll call it the halfway point. 6 furlongs, claiming price of $7,500. Non-winners of 1 in a year. Purse is $20,000, and this is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won a race since June the 6th.
All right. So again, 6 furlongs. We talk about it so many times. We can all recite it in our sleep. Post positions 1 through 7, play fair, 8 and out, a little bit of a bonus. Speed works 37% of the time. It goes wire to wire, Charles. So looking for the speed in race number 5. Should one go wire to wire? It's pretty clear which one it might be.
Yeah, that'd be the 2. The 2 has probably all the speed that I could see personally. So this horse is going to be out there winging it, 96%, 97% chance. So got to catch this horse, first of all.
Catch me if you can. Yes, indeed.
If you can. Simulation odds. The 2 itself, look, 2-1, morning line's 5-1. And then we have the 5 a little over 3-1. We got 4.5-1 morning line. So those are your 2 overlays in the race.
And if you look at the C zone, you got the triple play here again of the trifecta. Jet Force, the 2 horse, being 5-1 morning line. Simulation says it should be closer to 2-1. And then it's going to be on the lead and also has the strongest C zone. It's going to be very comfortable up there, Charles. And I have him as my 4th pick. You might be the wiser one here, putting him as your 2nd pick. Again, might be.
No,
looking at race number 5.
Come on.
Not only is that, but it's a lone E horse in here, Charles. Meaning if it gets to the front, that's exactly where it wants to be. And according to our recency bias, this one has a 9-point advantage. It's going to be almost 2 lengths in front of everybody else at the quarter-mile marker if everybody runs to this, in a pretty big gap down to the 5 horse. Some of the other ones in here, only a couple look like they can keep up with the kind of juice it brings out of the gates. Charles, in looking at the late pace in here, my friend, we see that the 8 horse, Shiny Penny, and Miss Malevolence and Snappy Ride, much better than the rest of the pack. So but they're also going to be at the back of the pack. Question is, are the fractions going to be fast enough that they can catch up? So when I see this race shape, definitely, everybody wants to be middle back except the 2. This race really should be the 2 horses race, Charles. But according to, and even here, it's your top total pace horse. So I probably should move it up towards the number 1 spot in my picks, but I'll leave it be where it is because I don't want to jinx anybody today, Charles. We both think the 7 has a shot to beat him, though.
Yeah, and I think why the 7 is because the 7 does have enough speed to keep it within reasonable distance. The 2 has shown time and time again, always stops at the end, has great leads, but stops. So there's a habit there forming. So the 7 is my top pick. Ran 3rd last time out. Drops in class. Trainer gets 20% when he drops him and when he puts him in claiming races. So why not? The 2 is my second choice, as we've been talking about. Has all the speed of the speed, but most of the time he stops. Drops in class though today, so a little dangerous. The 3 ran even last time out. Drops in class also, but this one's a closer, so he's going to have a lot of work to do at the end. And then the 4 another one with some tactical speed, ran third last time out, drops in class. He's going to have to sit a lot closer to do any damage.
I started with the 7-horse too. The Boss Cara did run the top last race. Speed figure going to combine that today with the drop in class. And that was after running faster or similar fractions at 6 furlongs, about the same as he did at 5 furlongs in the prior start. You run longer, but you run the same speed. In my book, that's faster, Charles. Number 5, Ms. Malevolence. Really chased some fast fractions last out, especially for this level. I don't know what that horse was on that was on the lead, but it was certainly on something that got it to go. I don't think you're going to see that kind of pace here today. Snappy Ride, the 3-horse, stands to take a step forward in its second race off of the sidelines. What I like about that is it has a maintenance workout in between. I was really kind of tossing a coin back and forth between it and Jet Force, that 2-horse. As we said, it's going to be your pace setter. As you said, Charles, about a half a mile into the race, tends to hit a brick wall. So the question is, can this one hold up with the drop in class? I think as long as it doesn't get crazy up front by itself, it has a good shot to go wire to wire. Had a 7-horse yesterday like that too. That was one that had a big race advantage, and I singled it up in my pick 4. I think it was a mile race, and it decided to go out in like 23. And then it still ran like a 25 seconds. So it ran like a 47, 48. But 23 in the opening quarter at Parx for like claiming 7,500 is just too fast. You know that horse is going to slow down at some point. It's going to hit the brakes, Mr. Charles.
Yep, that's true.
All right. So for me, I have a trifecta 5-7 with the 3-5-7 with the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Got a couple minutes to the next race. So let's try to rip through race number 6 as fast as we can.
Well, then race number 6 is 6.5 furlongs, optional claiming of 25,000. Purse is 28,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never started for 25,000 or less, which have never won 2 races or claiming price of 25, and which have never won 2 races.
Yes, they like to be repetitive in Philadelphia, just to make sure you got it.
It's amazing.
6.5 furlongs for the first time today. We didn't see it yesterday at all, I don't recall. Early speed, again, no surprise there. 29%, so a little bit of a cut back in terms of how many go wire to wire. The rail is fair, so Bobby's Candy doesn't get an advantage or disadvantage. 2 and 3, though, actually get a bonus. 4 through 7, they get squeezed by the horses on the inside and the outside, and 8 plays fair. So you want 1, 2, 3, 8 are out. You're looking for a little bit of speed in race number 6, Charles. And looks like a horse that is going to slide to the inside now with the scratch is the one they're going to have to catch.
Yeah, the 4. And it's got a 75% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. I have it down as my leader in this race, so it probably will be out there. The 5 has a little bit of chance of 23%. The simulation odds, we have the 5 at just under even money. We have 5-1 morning line. There's a nice little overlay. So that's what we got.
And a ton of strong C zones. So everybody should be pretty comfortable in here. In race number 6, real quick, as they load, you see a horse in here unlike any other, Charles. The Lone P in a race that has a couple that want to be on the front, a couple that want to be on the back. These Sesame Street horses, regardless of how they look on paper, do warrant consideration. Early speed-wise, it does look like the 4 and 5 have a little bit of an advantage, especially that 4-horse, the one we saw in the simulation, as the one that they're all going to have to run down. Although if he runs like he did on the late pace there, they won't have to run very hard. Late speed belongs to the 7, the 2, and the 6. So that Lone P sitting right behind the early speed with the most late pace. Looking at the top total pace figures in here, we're looking at the 7 and the 5 with the big edge over everybody else, and then the 2 and the 6. Let's rewind to race number 2, Charles, because they're about ready to go. According to this, the horse on the inside and the outside, the 1 and the 7, should be the ones that are setting the tone early on. The 1 horse has moved from 4-1 down to your 8-5 morning post-time favorite. 7-horse, Charles, at 13-1.
I'm rooting for the 7.
There. Off they go. And indeed, the 7-horse is just kind of going off to an easy lead, Charles, although the 5 is going to make him work to get to the front before the turn. I don't know if they're going to be able to get there. And the 1 horse is certainly not going to let him clear without going 2-3 wide. So the 1 horse and the 7-horse, just as our simulation says, they are on the lead with the 7 putting his nose in front of the 1. It's pretty tight. Maybe a photo finish right now. To their outside is the 5-horse singing through the storm. And then the 2-horse is next up in there. So those front 4 are probably about a length ahead of the next horse in there, which is We Be There, the 6 horse. And then the back of the field, you have He's So Subtle and that True to Coden. Maybe that horse is just spent, Charles, because he's been way out of the races the last couple. Way in the back, going to have to make a big rally, though it doesn't look like he will get the better of the 3 any moment. They've gone through the opening quarter in 24-3, the opening half in 49-4, so a pretty slow pace. The 1 horse continues to take the command here, although the 5 horse right to the outside is pulling up and put his nose in front of the 1. Looks to me like the 1's working a little harder than the 5. You do have the 6 horse in there, Charles, coming along. Oh, that's the 2 horse, excuse me, coming along in there. He's kind of working hard too. They're all kind of looking like they're working hard up front. The 6 horse is starting to make up a little bit of ground on the rail. He's being asked by the jockey too. They're all kind of lugging, it looks to me, down the stretch. Nobody's really bringing the heat. The 5 horse is the one right now that is on the lead. The 2 horses look like it's probably trying to get some momentum in here. The 6 horse might be able to split in the middle here, but it's going to be the 2 horse in here, Charles, for the second race in a row that takes the W home, which probably works out best for both of us on our pick 4s because it goes 2, 5, 1.
Yeah. Start off the pick 6, 5-1.
Pick 4.
Pick 4, excuse me.
Yes, that's all right. We both got that one, so that's workable, right?
Yeah.
We just need to come home on the back end. Your linchpin's going to be that 2 horse because you got a lot of coverage around that too. So if that 2 horse wins, Charles is going to be in good shape right there. So that race went, I think, 2, 5, 1, and then 6. 2, 5, 1, and 6.
I think so too.
2, 5, 1, and 6 in race 2. All right, let's finish up. What were we on, Charles? Race what? We were on race 7, right? 6. So we went through everything but our picks, right?
I have to do the picks. Yeah, we have to do the picks now.
All right, hold on one second. We got a couple comments. JT Parx winning place on the 5. Sorry, JT, missed that. Race 2, Christopher D'Souza on the 5. Sorry, guys. It was a busy call on the race and trying to keep track of all the production in the background. So we'll make sure we get picks going forward. All right, Charles. So what are your picks in race number 6? Picks in 6.
I really like the 7 here in the 6th race. I think it's setting it up for this horse. This horse ran second last time out. Ness gets 25% overall. You got a hot jockey last 7 days. So this horse should be sitting in that catbird seat and waiting to pounce right at the end because it's got good closing speed. The 2 is my second choice. First, you got to toss out that last race of this horse. This horse drops in class today. Got some tactical speed. Another one that should be sitting about 4th or so. Fits with this group, so let's see what this horse could do. The 1 ran 3rd last time out. Trainer gets 12% when he rests them up 46+ days. This horse is cutting back in distance today, so it might benefit this horse. And then the 4, I think this is the one they have to catch, but I think they will catch him. Pennington is riding, so it does help that horse out a little bit more on that, but I really like the 7 a lot.
20 to win on that 7. So 20% of Charles's budget to 1 horse. The 1 horse I think that's going to make him regret that 20% bet is the 4 horse Cameron Duke. Going to take a pretty substantial drop in class here. Also dropping in from the Naira tracks. So it's a track dropper as well. Charles has that early speed that we've seen throughout all of the data that we examined and is going to make the classic 3rd start after a layoff. No excuses for Cameron Duke today. Go East, the 5 horse in here, did run the top last race speed figure and did that again in a maiden claiming win. The only time I really want to take maiden claimers and even consider them for the win is if they did run the top last race speed figure last time out. And that top last race speed figure is a huge gap to the next closest horse. Paco riding this one, Charles. I think you're going to regret not having that one in your selections too. Number 7, there you go. Charles's top pick. Midnight Cat, Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera. As we mentioned before, they are the Batman and Robin of Parx. Missed by a nose at this level last out. 1 for 1 at Parx and becomes the lone P horse in here, as we talked about in the race shape a little bit before with the 3 scratching. So it does get a tactical advantage too. Number 2, Big Boy's Answer. Went long for the first time last out. I think going back to a sprint might be helpful for that horse here. I'm going to go with the 4-5-7 or with the 4-5 with the 1-2-4-5-7 50-cent trifecta for me in race number 6. The lucky 7th race, Charles, is what we'll talk about next. Before we talk about all of the particulars, you're going to let us know the conditions.
Yeah, race 7, 1 mile. It's a maiden versus 50,000. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Simple.
Very easy. 1 mile, again, Parx, you got to have fast horses. A big number, 38 out of 100, so 38% do go wire to wire. That's a big number there. You can't overlook that. You do have an inside-out edge, so 1, 2, and 3 outperform 4 through 7 and everything else. So inside speed at 1 mile, Charles, if you got it, you have a really strong chance of being the winner. Yeah, the 4 horse is going to be right there as far as speed is concerned, but it's not necessarily on the inside 3.
No, but I mean, the horse does have a 56% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole. The 7 has a chance of having that lead, 25% at the quarter pole. I actually lean towards the 7 a little bit more, getting that lead. When it comes to the simulation odds, I like the 1. I mean, the 1 here, has the just slightly under even money, and we got 2 to 1 morning line, and then we have the 3 just slightly under 3 to 1. We have 4.5 to 1 morning line. So those are two kind of nice little overlays, but not too big.
Yeah, and Charles, Christopher D'Souza in race 6 likes the 7 horse to take home the W there to get the big check. I'm looking at the C-zone here too, the 7, Augie's Girl. That's a pretty high C-zone for everybody else. Looks like it might be the one that's the most happy with the race tempo today in race number 7. So 7 and 7, kind of a little bit of numerology there. In race number 7, the only problem with the 7 is so far the horse hasn't been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line, although not a lot of experience. Everybody in here, for the most part, was off the pace and tried to close so far in its career, except for that 1 horse, Kiss Me Hardy, which was a pressure horse, but it doesn't look like it's the one with a lot of early speed. That number goes to the 4 horse, Philly's Diamond, the Naira track dropper, probably going to be your tone setter in here. We call that a left arrow horse, a closer with enough early speed to get in contention early on. Might grow some confidence up there as well. Looking at the late speed, you got the 3 horse Tempest Rising, Appealing to the Eye, Kiss Me Hardy, Cookie Bank, Valdag, whatever. And Philly, I mean, there's these 5 right there, clearly the strongest late pace horses. And if you're looking for top total pace, Appealing to the Eye, Cookie Bank, a couple of others in here, Charles. But outside of the 7 horse, Augie's Girl, they all are within 9 points of each other. So, a start, a bump, something like that puts them all in contention. Pretty wide open race here, Charles. How do you see it playing out?
Well, I don't really see it much as a wide open race. I really do like the 1 here. I think it's setting it up perfectly for this horse. This horse has really good tactical speed. This horse ran 2nd last time out. Now we know the rail gets 19%. This horse cuts back in distance. Pennington knows this horse. Is back on this horse. This horse gives an honest effort every time he rides the horse. So I see a lot of big things coming from this horse. Plenty of speed here with the 7 and that 4 out there winging it. I think he'll be in the perfect spot. My second choice is the 7. Does have the speed. I think this is going to be your leader personally. Toss the last race. Horse totally fits with this group. And then the 4 horse, the other speed, of course, ran even last time out. 2nd start after a layoff. The trainer gets 14% with that angle. So I think that horse be there for the minor awards. The 3 is my final pick here. This horse ran 3rd last 2 times, 2nd start after a layoff. The trainer gets 13% when he takes him from a sprint to a route, which I kind of like that when they do that. So I think this horse will have a shot at some of the minor pieces.
You got another 20% to win on a horse with the 1
That's
horse.
Right, on the 1.
And you got a singling them up in your pick 4. So
yeah,
better perform.
It will. This horse will. It's perfect race for this horse.
Yeah. Well, the one question for me, it did run the top last race speed figure, Charles, but that was way back in mid-July. Horse has been sidelined since then. The workouts, really nothing all that eye-catching, but nothing that was like, ooh, that's bad either. Has run successfully at Parx, sort of. 4 times out, no wins. So to look to do something today, it hasn't done. Win in Philadelphia. But it has a couple of seconds and a 3rd. Appealing to the Eye, it's a track dropper in here coming from a Tier 1 track. It was much faster through the first half mile in its last start. The last time it had a similar effort. Last time it had a second start off a layoff was its second race in its career, and it was much better than the first. And you're going to get a good ride out of Paco Lopez today. Phillies Diamond, the 4-horse, is that left arrow horse with all of that early speed that we saw. Could have a decent edge over everybody else at the get-go. Number 3, Tempest Rising. It's one that's going to try to move forward in its second start after a layoff. It also has a nice overlay in there, too. I'm going to do a pick 4 with the 1, 4, 5. I wanted to put the 3 in there, too, but unfortunately constrained by my own rules, the $100 budget. The 1, 4, 5, and 6 with the 4, 6, with the 2, 5, 6, and 8. That's the way I see that pick 4. Hopefully it plays out for me, Charles. I put most of my budget towards that. So I did feel like the 4 and 6 down here, I think you could single a horse in there, but you don't even have the single in there either. So I think we both kind of thought the same way through that one. 3 races to go, starting with race number 8. And tell us about this one.
Yeah, race number 8, 6.5 furlongs. And this is an allowance race, 8,000 starter. Purse is 30,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never started for a claiming price of 8,000 or less since September 6th of 21.
6 furlongs. Yeah, it's a couple of years. So that one at least has some duration there. 6.5 furlongs. Again, early speed, about 30%, handling their business from beginning to end. The rail is fair for Strugar. 2 and 3 get a little bit of additional bonus there. 4 through 7 get discounted. 8 and out, they still play fair. So it looks like you want a little bit of speed on the inside and on the outside in race number 8, and all of it's in the middle. How about that?
Yeah, in this race itself, there's a lot of speed in here. We have the 4, 48% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. The 5 could get the lead at 29% chance. And even that 2 will be pushing them along. So everyone in here has some speed. I couldn't make up my mind who is going to get the lead between the 4 and the 5, but they'll both. I think those 2, whoever breaks the best, probably most likely will get it. When it comes to simulation odds, that 4, slightly over even money. We got 2-1 morning line, and then the 5, 3-1. Got 4.5-1 on the morning line on that one.
Yeah, and that 4-horse not only does it have a little bit of an overlay, also has the strongest chance to be on the lead and the top C-zone score. Charles said he couldn't make up his mind. It's clear he just copied my picks. So it makes it easy. Yeah, easy to make up your mind. At this race, Charles, none of them need to be the lead. They're not lead dependent. Kind of balanced race in here. The 4 and the 6 are your versatile types. They could be in good shape. You got a lone P, a lone C. It's a very strategic race, it looks like to me, just looking at the race shape. Early speed does belong to the 4-horse, although everybody in here is within 2 lengths of each other. Again, hit the gas, as we saw in the simulation. Any one of them could be the one that pulls to the front of the cart. Looking at late speed, where this race is probably going to be won, Strugar, the 1-horse, a little bit more energy than everybody else at the end. The 1, 5, and 4 do grade out better than the others. The 3-horse Genghis, going to really struggle on the end, it looks like. Finally, our total top pace horse belongs to the 4, Mass Roar, along with the 5 and the 1. They're 10 points better up than the next. So I think the 1, 5, 4 could be a nice exacta trifecta box in there. Charles, what do you say? Well, you say the same thing I say because you copied my pick.
Yeah, right. Anyway, the 1-horse is my top choice here. This horse drops in class, won the last 2 times. You have Ness and Pennington combo here. That's a really good combo, as you well know. Ness gets 28% when he drops him off a win. That's what we got here. So that's huge. So I like the 1's chances a lot in this race. The 4, this horse won the last 3 times. One of the speed horses, as we've talked about, is this horse the speed of the speed? Maybe. So look out for that horse to be on the front. The 5 won the last 2 times. Definitely has speed. He's going to challenge that 4 pretty much all the way. Hot jockey last 7 days. And then that 6 is my price horse here. This horse ran second last time. Well bet last time. Fits with this group. So let's see what this horse could do.
I like the 1-horse too, Charles, as you know, because you went just verbatim with me. 9 high quality starts in 10 races, Charles. The only problem for me is at Parx. It's the only negative. 5 times out, just won one of them. 4 seconds, but they're all close. as you said, the horse is dropping off the win for Jamie Ness. He wins a lot there. Number 4, Mass Roar, won 3 in a row, and absolutely none of them were close. Charles, only reason I didn't rank this one first is because I feel like that last race was probably a peak race, and you're going to see some regression here, though it might not matter at the distance because he tried it twice and won both of them. Number 5, Causes Trouble, did increase its speed figure 4 races in a row. It's a big, powerful mid-move to get that job done. And again, 4 speed figure increases in a row, another alpha angle. And then number 6, Iconic Legacy. This horse runs first or second or off the board. Has some nice, strong workouts in between races. So it's either going to win and blow up all of our top 3 picks, or it's not even going to finish in the money, Charles. 2 races to go. Oh, I forgot. You have a $3 daily double. You're going to go with the 1 and the 6 in race number 8. And then we're going to move off to the first leg of the late daily double in the 9th. Charles, we go back to 1 mile and 70 yards.
Yeah, 170, claiming price of 40,000. Purse is 35,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since June the 6th, claiming or have never won 4 races.
So facing multiple winners, 1 mile, 70 yards, no surprise, speed, early speed. 30% of the time going wire to wire. There is an inside-out bias. I don't think it really much matters because the scratches knocked this race down to 4 horses. And in these 4-horse field, Charles, if you're looking for some speed, they all have some chance to get to the lead, although it does look like the 4-horse has the best chance.
Yeah, probably does. And according to me, I mean, I have it as the leader and the one that's going to have the speed at the quarter pole. But, look out for the 6. I think that 6 has got some good speed too. So that horse might do some damage there on the front end. When it comes to simulation odds, the 3, almost 3-1 to 3-1. So pretty even.
Fair value.
Yeah, fair value right now. And then we have the 4 at 4-5 and 2.5 to 1 morning line. But remember, that's before the 2 scratches.
Mm-hmm. And then looking at just the C zone here, you have the 4 and the 6 grading out better than the 2 and the 3 not getting a call at all there. So with the 4-horse, you do have the most likely leader, comfortable going to be up on the front and an overlay. Again, there's that trifecta we talked about. And as we take a look at race number 9's race shape, the 4-horse is a PC horse. So it's the one we think has a shot to be on the lead. Doesn't need to lead. The other 3 want to be close to the front or co-pilot. So you got a bunch of speed up in here. They all kind of want to run the same race. A little versatility from the 2 and the 6. The 4 could sit right behind these 3, let them duke it out, and then just run by late if it has the late speed. If you're looking at the early speed, the 6-horse Little Demon, the one you said you thought would be the one that would challenge the 4 early on, according to recency, does have a little bit of an early race advantage over the 4. Though everybody's pretty tight in here except for 3 Steiner. I think this is where the race is going to be won. Charles is the late speed. The 4-horse should sit second and has a 3-length advantage in late pace over everybody else. So should sit second or third, maybe even 4th in this group. And then when it gets riled up and ready to go, definitely has the late energy and the boosters to get to the front. Looking at total pace, 14 points. That means this horse is about 3 lengths better and should win this race by about 3 lengths if total pace is the key to the winner's circle. Charles, all that, and you think it's going to come in 4th out of 4?
Yeah, because I like the 6. I think the 6 could take the lead and just take that 4 out of its game. If the 6-horse ran even last time out, Ness gets 31%, taking them from sprint to route. That's why I got a Ness daily double going here. So I think this horse is going to be right on the money. Mm-hmm. The 2-horse is my second choice here. First, you got to toss out the last that was on turf. This horse drops in class today. Trainer gets 20% when he takes him from turf to dirt. And then the 3-horse is my third choice. This horse ran second the last 2 times. Has that tactical speed to sit right there and make one good move at the end. Fits with this group. And then that 4, the other one with speed, ran second last time. Second start after a layoff. The trainer gets 19% with that angle. So I think the 6 is going to take the 4 out of its game.
I don't think so, Charles. I think this 4-horse, I think Better call the inspectors if the 4 doesn't win according to the total pace edge. 14 points, total point edge over everybody else. Should be, as we mentioned, because there's really not a ton of early gas in here, should sit second or third, no more than a length or two off of everybody else, and then just has that enormous late pace advantage. If it doesn't take advantage of that, something's wrong. Number 6, Little Demon, could be your pace setter, Charles, like you think. Has a shot to improve in its second Parx race after coming in from the Naira circuit. Number 3, Steiner gets the third call for me too. Consistent performer, has some early pace ability, but just doesn't have it just runs the same race over and over and over again. It just needs to find a little extra pop somewhere to beat horses that are a little bit better than it is. Finally, number 2, Irish Exit. Somebody had to be 4th out of 4, Charles. Some decent workouts between races, which could hint at an upgrade in performance today. I'm all out of money, so I cannot make any more bets. What I can do is take us off to race number 10, which is the final race of the day. Charles, back to 6.5 furlongs to close the show.
Yeah, this race is 6.5, like you said. Claiming price 7,500. Non-winners are 2 life. Purse is 21,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
And again, for the final time, 6.5 furlongs. Speed plays 29% of the time. It plays right from the beginning to the end. You rail is fair. 2 and 3 get a little bit of extra ability, a little bit bias to their favor. 4 through 7 discount. 8 and out goes back to the fair column. So in this race, we will get a full field. Inside speed matters, Charles, and you do have some inside speed here.
Yeah, you do. The one has a 51% chance of getting the lead at the quarter pole. I think the 8's going to be very dangerous out there with the 41% chance. And actually, you shouldn't turn your head too much away from that 2, to be honest with you. I think those 3 horses are really going to be winging it. When it comes to simulation odds, though, look at that 4, 6-1 and 15-1 morning line. That's a nice overlay. The 5, even money, and you got 3-1 morning line. So that's a nice little overlay too.
One horse does scare me a bit, Charles. A big chance to be forwardly placed, where speed goes 30% of the time, wire to wire. Very strong, tied for the top C-zone score in there. So not going to be at all uncomfortable if it is indeed the one on the front. Not going to feel pressured at all. Question is that where it's going to be? And it's one of 3 that want to be on the front. There's that lone P horse again, that Sesame Street horse, unlike all the others. And then behind it, the 4, 6, and 9 all want to close. So far, Tequila Jr. has not been within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line. So maybe you could put an X through that one, shorten the field up to, 8 horses. Looking at the early speed in here, Mr. Charles, you have the 1, the 8, just like the sheet shows. They're going to be the tone setters. The 2 horse, a little bit down here, maybe going to be uncomfortable being up on not having the lead, although it does look like it has plenty of late juice in there, Charles. So if it gets out of the gate early and it's close, might not make a difference. Our total pace belongs to the 2, the 5, and the 8. Those 3 scoring about 5 points better than the next grouping. That means the 2, 5, and 8's likely to produce your winner, Charles. And once again, you copied my top 3 picks and just put a little one different on the end to make it so it's not so obvious.
Yeah, I tried my best to switch it around. But the 5, this horse ran 3rd last time out. This horse looks like he should like this distance. This horse has got that tactical speed to do some damage there. The 8, one of the leaders, I think that's going to be up there. Back on dirt today. Trainer gets 13% when he takes him from turf to dirt. And then that 2. I think this horse is the interesting horse in the whole race. Has that speed, could go to the front, really, I think. But it does have, like you said, that closing speed too. So it's probably the most practical horse to sit 3rd. Ran even last time out. Second start after a layoff. The trainer gets 16% with that angle. And then my price horse will be the 9. The 9 drops in class today. 3rd start after a layoff. This horse will be closing at the end. So that's where I'm going to put him, as picking up the pieces of the pie.
And you said that 2 horse, the most practical horse. It's also Christopher D'Souza's pick to win here with the 2, the 4, 5 exacta and trifecta box. I like the 5-horse too, Charles, as you know, after you copied me. We got a guy. Yeah, in Chicago, that's what you need for everything. You need a guy. Did run the top last race speed figure. I'm a bit concerned about regression in the last race, although that lone P status might be enough to get the horse back on par. Almond Cider at Parx, 11 times out, 1 win, 5 seconds, 1/3. It's run at other tracks 13 times, Charles, and in those 13 efforts has 1 second. Clearly a horse for the Ben Salem course. Union Reward, Christopher's tactical horse. Has some early speed. Going to get a 7-pound weight break here. Maybe maximizes that speed, carrying a little less weight. That's about 1.5 lengths, according to our friend Tom. Every 5 pounds equals 1 length. I don't know about that, but that's the rule of thumb. Charles, you know it to be anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
And then finally, for me, bookmarker, the 6-horse, most likely raced horse in this field, Charles. Going to drop a couple of classes in here, so maybe off the class drop, and maybe because it's lightly raced, the horse might have more than it has shown so far. I don't have any picks again out of money, but here are our full picks for the day. In race number 1, the 2-horse was your victor. In race number 2, the 2-horse was your victor, Charles. So looks like in race number 3, the 2-horse is going to be your victor as well. But the 2-horse is 9-2 right now in race number 3. So it's got a shot. It's got a shot. I think it is the 4th favorite right now in the field. The favorite is the 6-horse, followed by the 1-horse, the 6-1. And then after that, you got the 3, and then the 2, and the 4 and the 5 way out there at 14-1. You got about a minute or two for race number 3. So
they're walking back behind the gate now as we speak.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. Again, tonight we'll talk with jockey Grace McEntee, who's coming in from Europe to try her luck here in the States. That'll be on at 8 o'clock tonight with myself and Swiss Army Sean. Make sure you tune in for that. And then, of course, again, tonight, while we're doing that, you can also play along at Remington Park with our free picks at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. Kindly use that. Tomorrow, yours truly and Charming Charles with that face. We'll be back to talk about Kentucky Downs, the really anything can happen track. It's a lot of fun there. I think we'll be joined by 22-1 Thomas, who will certainly have his bomb picks available. There's no question about that. Tom likes his long shots. Let's take a quick look back here at race number 3, the way we see this race setting up. Charles, does look like the early race is going to be a run between the 1, the 3, the 4, and potentially the 6-horse in there, Charles. Peach with a Q getting bet down from 3-5 to 2-1. The 1-horse Bravo Zulu is your favorite now, taking those honors from the 1-horse as they're halfway through, loading into gate for race number 3. Looking at the value here, once again, though, Charles, to be honest with you, for the 3rd race in a row, the 2-horse does set up as the value horse again.
And that's what I'm rooting for because of my pick 4. I mean, I have the 2, 3, 6, but I mean, the 2 is the value.
I have the 1, 3, and 6. So the 2 is the value in there again. It's the value play in there. And they're about to come out of the gates. Although at 6-5, at 9-5, the 1-horse offers a lot of value too, because we think the horse should be closer to 3-5. So that one offers a lot of value, even though it is the favorite at 8-5. So the 1 or the 2 might be where you want to place your win bets here. And they're off. The 5-horse kind of jumped straight up in the air there, Mr. Charles. So his task became a little bit more difficult. The 6-horse has sauntered off to the lead there. Peach with a Q, my horse named after my dog. Behind that, you have the 1, the 3, and the 4. The jockey on the 3, America's Pride, is standing straight up and down, not asking the horse for anything. You have the 4-horse on the outside in there, trying to push up against the 6-horse for the lead. You go through the opening quarter in a pretty quick 22-3. 6-horse continues to be the leader with the long shot, the 4 on the outside, keeping him honest. 1-horse on the rail starting to make up some ground on here as the 4-horse looks like it's going to really make the 6-horse work if it wants to go wire to wire. And here they come down the stretch. The 6-horse maintains the lead at 47-1. So he got to slow it down in the second half of the race there. It does look like the 1-horse has gone wide. Looks like that horse is going to be your winner. Although here you come with that 2-horse trucking at the end. Is it going to catch the one? I don't think so, Charles. I think the one horse again, the horse that we thought would show some value, the 1 and the 2 value horses proving to be where you want it to be. So it's going to go 1, 2, and then I think 5 finished third. So 1, 2, and 5. Did you have the 1 in your pick 4, Charles?
No, I did not. Not my first pick 4. No.
I did. So hopefully I can clean it out the rest of the way, Mr. Charles. All right. Well, that wraps up today's show. We'll be back tomorrow again with myself, Charles, and Thomas, most likely for Kentucky Downs. Make sure you do not miss that show by hitting the subscribe button at YouTube. Hit the follow us buttons on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all of those different places at the horse race, the number 2 day, horse race 2 day. Any final thoughts, Charles, on this hump day before we get together again tomorrow for Kentucky Downs?
No, like I've been stating, I'm going to be going into the Kentucky Keeneland sales here, the yearling sales of the book right here, like this. But anyway, I'll be there. And if you guys have any questions, you want to buy a horse or just want to start looking at maybe for the next year or whatever the case
or
may
just
be.
Learn, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you can teach people, sure.
I'll teach them what they should be looking for, how it goes about, and all that stuff. So, send me an email and we'll get in touch.
All right, sounds good. Of course, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this hump day, we certainly hope that you have God's favor, God's grace, and every single thing that you do until we get together tomorrow, where it's almost impossible to find 9 or 10 horses to finish in the winner's circle. But between here and there, we hope that everything you do ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us today. Have a fantastic Wednesday. See you tomorrow.